Let's have another round of applause for Neil. This is his third job as an MC. He's got 2 other jobs. So if you guys way out in the back, if you can't hear us, move up because we can hear you. So it'll be better for you guys to move up so you can hear us. No, it's an honor and pleasure to be here today. Arshad Mansoor, I'm the Chief Disruption Officer, no, CEO of EPRI. We have 1,500 researchers, geeks in 40 countries, working with 400 energy companies to shape the future of energy. And it was, very appreciative to Devram. I still got the email August 22nd in Oxford Street. I met with Devram, and he was saying, Arshad, we need to do this. And I said, what? He said, we need to figure out how to make interoperability the cornerstone for load flexibility. And I said, we've been working at EPRI for 20 years on that. Well, working on 20 years doesn't make impact, so that's how Mercury was born. So Devram, wherever you are, amazing idea, and it's amazing to see all of you. But I do have one, not a question, but none of you got the memo? I had to fly out all the way from Charlotte and New York to get the memo. What's wrong? I mean, the color code, look at that. I mean, none of you guys got the color dress code. What color do you need to wear? Well, so I'm going to move up because we got an all-star panel waiting at the chops. They're going to answer all your questions. As Devram said, we're going to bring the utility, the demand side, the people who will create the demand for more and more flexible products to come in. But I thought just to say a few words about a little bit deeper of what would Mercury do. And don't ask me any question on DNP, Modbus, IEEE 61850, but think of a vision where in the next 6 months, there's a Mercury guideline for batteries that are used in home. And let's say that guidebook, Mercury book says, here are the functionalities that a battery should have. Let's say one of the functionality is provide frequency response to the grid, one of many. So it will document all the functionality. And then for each one of those functionality, frequency response, it will document what are the requirements for you to offer that functionality. Maybe latency is 50 milliseconds, I don't know, something. Then it will look at what grid services maybe you should do under voltage protection, frequency right through. It'll talk about what type of control and communication you need. It will talk about the cybersecurity. All these, the standards exist. So it will unpack each device, unpack the functions that device should have, unpack the requirements that will enable those functions, and unpack existing standards and codes that could be used to make it interoperable. And where there is a gap, or if IEEE 2030, it may be a good set of standards, but cannot be really applied by a manufacturer because you can make 9 different ways to do IEEE 2030 or 1547, and those 9 different ways will not talk with each other. In that case, we'll do some work to provide a clear guidance to manufacturers. This is what will take to get a Mercury symbol on a battery that you sell to a house. And then we will go, that's one step, and the step is not done. So let's say you're going to be using that battery, and you could be anybody, a utility, a aggregator. You're now offering frequency response service to the market. Well, in the US, I got Cal ISO, I got ERCOT, I got New York ISO, I got 6 of them. You got RTE, you got EDF, and everybody has a different requirements. Well, we got to work with them to say, how can we harmonize? So if I'm bidding on frequency response, let us not create 29 different softwares in 29 different markets. So interoperability has to go from all the way device level to all the interfaces. That's the hard challenge. If you look at what Bluetooth did, and if you look at the communication stack that it was working on versus what we are undertaking, this is infinitely more complex. But it's doable, and we got to do it. And here's the reason we got to do it. It took us 125 years to go from 0 to 20. What does that mean? Anybody on the back that you guys are talking? What does it mean it took us 125 years to go from 0 to 20? You can talk and you can answer? I mean, shout it out. What does it mean to go from 0 to 20 in 125 years? 20% of the world's energy that we use today is electricity. 125 years ago, when Chicago became the city of light, Edison came up with light bulb. Remember Edison, Westinghouse duked it out, DCAC? The use of electricity was 0%. It took us 125 years to move from 0% to 20% energy that we use in the world is electricity. That speed is going to grow by 3x to 4x. Within the next 20 to 30 years, 30 to 40% of the world's energy would be electricity. It's because of EVs, it's because of heat pumps, it's because of industrial electrification, and it's because of we, the humans, think that we can create a digital brain. So everybody's creating AI data centers now. So at that opportunity we have, that electricity use has to increase 2x, 3x, 4x. We can't just do 0 to 20 in 125 years. We'll do 20 to 40 in the next 30 years. You can't just invest 4x times more. To make this new electricity, new dawn of electricity, and I say new dawn, you look at a country, United States. The electric sector in the last 9 months looks like what the electric sector was in 1980s. We're seeing 4%, 5%, 10% growth. Now, it's all AI data center related, but on top of EVs are happening, on top of heat pump is happening. On top of 650 new industries broke ground in the last 18 months in the United States. First time in 30 years, electricity demand from industries is going up. This is a new world. You better believe the change. And you cannot do that change without demand flexibility. You cannot do that affordably, and we cannot scale up demand flexibility. And that's the reason why we need Mercury. So one of the users of Mercury, the demand signal will come from